The Sound.
The sound of Cov.
CWR Breakfast with Phil Upton.
BBC CWR.
Thursday morning, coming up, music from Eurythmics. New single from James Blunt. If you saw him live up the road at Resorts World a couple of weeks ago, you'll have heard his new single with Ward Thomas. We'll play it for you before 9 at BBC CWR. But this morning, lots of you increasingly concerned about the outbreak of the coronavirus on the day when the World Health Organization has said that for the first time there are more new cases being recorded in the rest of the world than in China, where of course the virus originally emerged. 40 countries now affected. Right here, Public Health England is saying schools and businesses shouldn't overreact. So, your coronavirus questions answered this morning. Delighted to say we're joined this morning by Andrew Easton. Andrew is a virologist at Warwick University. Professor Easton, very good morning to you.
Good morning.
Thanks for joining us on BBC CWR. So a couple of really short, sharp questions, really, I think, that might help our audience sort of understand this in a world where we're getting daily updates on this, and it's ever moving all the time. This phrase self-isolate that we've heard about in the last couple of days, what does that actually mean?
Well, the intention here is to suggest that when people feel that they're experiencing symptoms that might cause them to think that they have encountered the coronavirus, alongside other factors that mean, for example, they've been in contact with someone who's been in China and so on, so that they feel that they are at risk, that they should take steps to try and reduce the number of people they come in contact with by staying at home, contacting some health officials to tell them the situation that they're in, explain why they think they're at risk and what their symptoms are.
Okay, so people should restrict their contact with other people, stay at home, limit exposure, and that, we're told, is for a period of 2 weeks.
Well, potentially. What they should do is contact some health officials to explain their own personal situation, and the advice they get then will tell them whether they really have a significant risk. They can then be tested if that's appropriate. If they were really at risk of having been in contact with the virus, then the advice would be that they would they'd wait 2 weeks before they regain normal activities.
Let's say you think you've got it. And what would happen if you rocked up at your local hospital, at the A&E, for example, and say, I think I've got the coronavirus?
Well, the first thing to do is to telephone a health official to explain why you think you're at risk and so on.
So the first thing to do is not to rock up at your hospital and do that then?
Indeed.
Right.
That's exactly
That's a
right.
don't.
So that has been done, and it's not the best action.
Okay. So the do is call 111.
Yes, that's exactly right. Explain your circumstances, why you think you're at risk, what your symptoms are, and then they'll go through a procedure to assess what the real risk actually is, and give advice at that point, which will either be to seek further help, which they will organise for you, or to reassure you that the risks are low.
How different are the symptoms to, say, regular winter flu? You might have the flu, but in the current climate, you might overreach that and think, could it be coronavirus? I mean, are there differences in symptoms?
Not sufficiently different that you would know at the time, and that's why I emphasise that there have to be other factors that would lead you to believe that you might have the coronavirus. At this stage, the number of cases in the UK is absolutely tiny, so the chances are very small. Right. And the only risk would be if there's been direct contact with someone who's been in China, or if you've been in China yourself, of course, or one of the other areas where there's high incidence like Korea and Vietnam.
So at the moment, the best advice, call 111 so you can be tested and be treated. They will give you assistance if you are having problems, breathing, lots of hydration, all the usual things you're told maybe when you've got the flu.
That's exactly right. Yeah, general support to help you maintain some level of health through as the virus proceeds through its normal process.